You know, when I was #1 in the world, I was afraid of losing that.
I'm afraid of what happens if I don't do this right.
But that's your own ego trying to prove someone else.
I don't have confidence.
Just because you lose doesn't mean you're a loser.
Who am I without pickleball now?
Zero, zero.
Got it? You ready? Let me ask you a question. How do you handle fear and being prepared and nervousness? You ever get nervous before a match, before a US Open, anything?
Were you nervous? You nervous playing against me?
I don't have the confidence, like Michael Jordan confidence. Like
Jordan
I'm gonna
confidence?
crush it.
But at
You know
the
what I'm
same
saying?
time,
Kinda got the feeling I'm talking about?
one of my favorite athletes of all time is actually Mike Tyson.
Okay.
And he actually said in a podcast that he was afraid in the locker room every time before a fight. He said the closer I got to the ring, the more confident I got. In the locker room, I'm terrified. When I get a little closer to the ring, I get a little more confidence. Get closer to the ring, more confidence. I step in the ring, I'm invincible. I'm a god. For me, I just know how much work I put into pickleball and how many shots I've hit that I just trust my game 100%. And I just know whether I win or lose, the world's gonna keep spinning.
Yeah.
It's not gonna change my life.
Yeah.
And so I used to be so afraid of losing because I thought I would lose everything, but losing, just because you lose doesn't mean you're a loser.
Yeah.
I mean, you can learn things and it keeps going on. There's gonna be another match after that.
So I had just won the first 4 US Opens, was #1 in the world, and then COVID hit. So obviously, like the rest of the world, everything stopped. There were no more tournaments, no more of my clinics, everything was canceled. So I spent about 6 months not really knowing what I was gonna do with the rest of my life. And so I kind of struggled with that realization, like, who am I without pickleball now? Because that's how everyone knew me, was the pickleball guy. Once it came back, I didn't have that same passion for it. I wasn't really winning because the whole time that I was not playing, everyone else was training. A lot of new players were getting into it, and I wasn't the best anymore.
So for me, I just don't get nervous or afraid anymore like I did when I was younger, because I understand, like, you're gonna lose some, you're gonna win some.
That's big.
But as long as you trust your game, so you've been practicing enough, you practice so much, playing against me, playing against anyone back home, there's really no difference.
I agree with you. It's just trying to impress someone too. You put a lot of work and effort in.
You put that pressure on yourself.
I agree.
But that's your own ego trying to prove someone else.
I think one of the aspects of pickleball that really spoke to me was just how friendly everyone was, especially when you're kind of the best or you're rising. A lot of people want to be your friend, and I really appreciate that. I don't know, I really had a whole lot of friends growing up, so just that welcoming pickleball community just really spoke to me. And after a while, I started to realize that these people, I don't know if most of them are really my friends. I think a lot of them maybe idolized me for my talent, but not really for who I was. And then again, as soon as you stop winning and they no longer need you for anything or no longer feel like you can help them, or they don't really idolize you the same way anymore, then you realize they really weren't your friends all along, and that kind of stings.
My father had a saying, show me who your friends are, and I'll show you who you are. I was lying to people. No one knew that I was hitting the drugs like I was. I was a habitual user of cocaine and ecstasy. So I eliminated every bad aspect of my life. If anybody was negative, and if anybody was, in that scene, I cut them off. I had to cut them off because I had to do what's best for me.
Good. Hey, those are good though. They're making me move, making me work a little more. I've always found that I could use my fear of losing, of not being good enough, to actually make me play better, because it's a motivational thing. I mean, when I was #1 in the world, I was afraid of losing that. It made me play better, because I got like desperate. I said, I have to win at all costs, right?
I get where you're coming
so if you can find a way to use that as a motivational factor to get where you're going,
I
that
have
might help.
The reason I'm doing what I'm doing, the reason you see me working so hard, practicing so hard, is because I'm afraid of losing my son. I mean, I already lost him, but I'm afraid of not reconnecting with him. He's a second year in college. I mean, I want to watch his graduation. I watch him get married. These are things that I want to see. So what you see me doing here is a direct relation to me being afraid of losing him. So what you're telling me, I hear it, and the fear is there because I'm afraid. I'm afraid if I don't win now, I'm going to lose him. I know that's not the case. I'm sure if I won, he'd be like, win what? What is pickleball? You know what I'm saying? So it's more about that. It's about the journey. It's about getting better. It's about learning every day. And I understand what you're doing, and I appreciate it.
Well,
I'll do
what I can to help.
Yeah, but that's awesome.
In this episode, I want to talk a little bit more on his positioning and the court coverage and being in the right place at the right time. Because if you get out of position, it makes your life a lot harder on the court. If you're too far off the line at the wrong time, if you're late coming in. Nice. Good. Get away from me. Nice.
That was a stupid move on my part. I had you. All right, good
You
play.
had me the whole time.
I had you, and I gave you an easy one. As soon as I hit it, I'm like, I'm done.
Way to figure out what was wrong and just changing a little bit. You started getting the ball away from me a little more. You were making decisions for yourself, hitting the drop shot instead of just hitting it right back to me. That changes everything. Now I'm having to work harder and play your game a little bit more, so I can't do what I want to do anymore.
Well, that drop shot was purely because I'm changing things. I'm making things, just doing something different against the, the norm.
Well, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result.
Bravo.
So just hit me the ball every time, expecting me to be nice isn't going to cut it, but mixing up, going with a new shot I hadn't seen yet, trying to drop, trying to lob, just doing something different, trying to probe, I like that.
And no excuses. I'm not a singles player, I never played tennis, but this is more tennis. It's more strategy, and it's something that I don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you're teaching me all this, even though it's not my forte, singles.
I think this would benefit you specifically though, because just like in doubles, but if you let the other person dictate play, you're just working so much harder chasing everything. But if you can hit a ball away from me, make me run.
That was one of your shots,
But now I don't hit the best shot that I want to hit, and you're in control of the rally.
I believe now 100% that I will be in the Olympic Games, and whenever they are. And that's the beauty of it, that it's not today. And here's the problem with people. When you tell someone your dream, they hold it like you're supposed to be great today. If I told you I was going to be the world's greatest doctor after I graduate school in 5 years, you'd be like, oh, that's wonderful. Good luck. But if you tell someone I want to be the world's greatest pickleball player or to something to that extent, you find a lot of people that give you a lot of hard time, and you'll never, ever, ever find someone that's doing better than you put you down, ever.
The biggest help for me ended up being my girlfriend, who we had started dating when I was #1 in the world. I got a lot of attention at that point in time. And after COVID, when I wasn't #1, I certainly wasn't getting the attention. She was still there. And I remember one day she told me, even if you don't play pickleball again for the rest of your life, it doesn't matter. I'd still love you for who you are. And I realized that being the best was never the point all along. It was making the friendships and just being welcomed by people, and having her there by my side, and knowing that my family still cared about me, knowing that pickleball wasn't the end all be all. Then I could kind of step back and realize, why am I doing this to begin with? It wasn't to be famous. It wasn't to be the best. It was because I enjoyed playing. I enjoyed meeting people. I enjoyed connecting with all those people that they seem different. Obviously I'm playing with seniors, but at the same time, it's funny how people have a lot more in common than we realize, especially in today's world where everyone seems so divided. We're still human beings. We still have the same emotions, and I think pickleball has a funny way of bringing that out of people.
This game, this sport that you love, that I love, this is making me a better person. This is making me the person I should be for my kid. Working hard, fighting back, making mistakes, getting back out there, getting back on the horse.
Would you have found pickleball if it weren't for the situation you were in?
No, that's the crazy thing. Had I not gone through the worst cases in my life, if not lost and suffered, I wouldn't have had this opportunity and had the great people in my life, or my wife, and the great things that are in my life now, or God for that matter. I'm hitting a plastic ball with 40 holes in there, and I'm trying to make this my life, because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't do this right. So I know that everything happens for a reason. I know all the pain, all the suffering is going to lead to something great. I believe in it. That's why I'm here.